All right, big guy, you're on.
Got it. Thanks, Dave. You're gonna make me cry with that introduction, but I am honored to be here. It's been a while since I've been on the Tuesday morning call, and I'm happy to be here, seeing some familiar faces, and always excited to see new faces. I think we all remember our first time and early times, guys, in this group, and just how refreshing it is to know that there's guys who want to walk with us in this journey and challenge us to continue to grow and to know what freedom truly is. And so happy to be here, excited to do this. I'm just going to jump into it here. We're going to talk about core values today, and so I'll jump right in. Good morning, men, and everyone else who will be watching this video down the line. Today, we're going to spend some time talking about core values, how they shape us, impact us day to day, and can also have an effect on the people around us. But before we get into that, we need to understand what core values actually are. So let's dive in. A couple definitions of core values: a basic, essential, or enduring part or belief of a person or group. Traits or qualities that are not just worthwhile, they represent an individual's highest priorities. I found an article about core values, and in it, George Ezel says this: your values are things that you believe are important in the way you live and work. They should determine your priorities, and deep down, they're probably the measures you use to tell if your life is turning out the way you want it to. When the things that you do and the way you behave match your values, life is usually good. You're satisfied and content. But when these things don't align with your personal values, that's when things feel kind of wrong. This can be a real source of unhappiness. So what does the Bible say about core values? The most common ones we might call the fruit of the Spirit. Galatians 5:22-24. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. And those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the flesh with its passion and desires. Now we could do a separate talk on each of these, but let's just briefly touch on each one. First off, love. Romans 12:9-10. Let love be genuine. Hate what is evil, cling to what is good. Love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. Selfless care for others and emotion towards one another. That's what love is. Joy. Philippians 4:4. Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. So joy is contentedness that comes from having faith in God, regardless of the circumstances. Peace. Colossians 3:15. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body, you were called to peace, and be thankful. Peace is the Holy Spirit can usher peace into our hearts, peace in our heart and peace with others. Patience. Colossians 1:11. Being strengthened with all power according to his glorious might, for all endurance and patience with joy. So patience, self-restraint, being in control of oneself. Kindness. Colossians 3:12. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Kindness is caring and compassion for others. Goodness. Matthew 26:41. Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Being good certainly ties in with being kind. And from a faith perspective, these values go hand in hand. But goodness can change both the person expressing it as well as the person interacting with it. Next up, faithfulness. Deuteronomy 7:9. Know therefore that the Lord your God is God. He is faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and keep his commandments. Faithfulness is trusting and loving God and living out that commitment. Gentleness. 1 Peter 3:15. But in your hearts revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give reason for the hope that you have, but do this with gentleness and respect. So gentleness is in a culture of fierce and selfish responses. Be respectful in your approach. Self-control. Proverbs 16:32. Better a patient person than a warrior. one with self-control than one who takes a city. So self-control, especially in our journey, controlling our words, thoughts, and behaviors. These are all paramount to our Christian walk and will also help to define who we are and what we believe in. But added to these will be core values, good or bad, that have shaped us. When faced with certain decisions, we will refer back to our core values to determine how we act and respond. From the outside, people often perceive core values as your character or morality. These beliefs dig down to the very root of our identity and steer us in the direction that feels aligned with who we truly are. Core values can help us feel more confident in our decisions, help us with our intuition, give us more conviction in our daily lives, and help us make better choices that match our overall goals. Core values can be broken down into 4 different groups. First, the basic list of beliefs and values. So this fruit of the spirit we referred to would fall into this category. Other examples would be honesty, integrity, wisdom, loyalty, charity, respect, courage, accountability, openness, compassion, forgiveness, generosity, gratitude, spirituality, sincerity, hope, boldness, on and on. There's so many. These characteristics are what separates us as humans from animals. We have the capacity for morality to differentiate between right and wrong. This can be of great benefit, but it can also affect us negatively, as we will touch on a bit later. Second group would be personal values in relationships. We were not meant to do life on our own. We were designed for community. Most happy relationships will be founded on similar values. These would include trust, affection, listening, thoughtfulness, empathy, appreciation, encouragement, fidelity, quality time, cooperation, intimacy, confidence, passion, affection, and so on. These don't just apply to a marriage relationship. These values can help strengthen connection in our everyday relationships with friends and family, allowing us to thrive in these areas. Third group would be personal values in work. We all have different goals in life. Some of these will determine the work that we will get involved in, the career that we will pursue. Values like persistence, dedication, teamwork, innovation, leadership, organization, responsibility, credibility, enthusiasm, dependability, service, mentorship, adaptability, consistency, resourcefulness, teachability, and many more will define how we conduct business, helping determine the broader vision of our career and daily performance in the workplace. And last group would be personal values for life. What are our goals in life, in this journey, short-term and long-term? Values like self-discipline, family, freedom, happiness, balance, personal development, exploration, self-control, restraint, modesty, stewardship, understanding, awareness, community, humor, strength, planning, sustainability. How many of these have we talked about over our time in this journey? Personal values can be vital in our daily walk, helping us create new habits and daily disciplines. Knowing our personal values will ensure that each decision we make will fit our overall mission. Many values become ingrained in you from your upbringing, while others may have established on your own. Values becomes especially evident when you meet someone raised entirely different from you. For example, someone raised to value family traditions may always eat dinner around the table. On the other hand, a family who values sports and entertainment may spend their evenings and holidays eating dinner on the couch. To understand someone's core values, you can also look at how they make big life decisions. For example, a person who values freedom and adventure probably spends much of their time and money on travel. Maybe they decide not to have children or buy a house because they prefer to live as a digital nomad traveling the world. However, someone who deeply values stability, security, and routine will craft their life differently. They may want to settle down, get married, raise children in a nice neighborhood while working on a corporate job. While they may vacation, they are less likely to make radical or spontaneous travel decisions like the example above. This all comes down to what people want most out of life. None of these examples are right or wrong. Instead, they illuminate how different values play out in people's daily decisions. Each person will follow their unique path based on their core values. So with all of this in mind, how do I identify my core values? So making a list of your core values can help you determine who and what you want in your life. When your path becomes unclear, you face a challenging situation. You can refer back to your core values and ask, is this truly aligned with who I am? Core values can help us with the motivation we require when we face temptation and challenges in our journey. So I found a great method to help determine what our core values are. It's called the core value exercise. So the first one, the C in that would be contemplation. So going somewhere quiet, such as a meditative space or natural area where you can pray and reflect in silence. Ask God to clear your mind from distractions. Bring a notebook and turn off your phone so you can focus. Begin by jotting down random things that come to mind when you ask yourself, what do I value most in life? The second part is the O, called openness. So on the next page, journal and reflect for a moment on the topic of authenticity. Ask yourself, when do I feel most like myself? Is it when you're with certain people or doing certain things? You should also reflect on when you feel unaligned with yourself. What feelings are triggered in certain situations that make you betray or act differently to fit in? Be honest with yourself and dig into the underlying motivations behind the self-betrayal. Embracing your authentic self is a strong representation of core values. The third part is the R, that's respect. Think about who you admire and respect most in this world. Perhaps it's a parent, an author, a friend, or a mentor. Write down the names of 3 people you highly respect. Then jot the words next to their names that describe why you look up to them. For example, if you highly respect Dr. Dave, it may be because of his heart for the broken and his compassion for those who need freedom. And these would be key clues that you value ministry, grace, and compassion. And the last section is excitement, the E. Think about what inspires you to take action. Are you motivated by the excitement of finding freedom in this journey? Excitement of having a marriage free of addiction and betrayal? Or do you feel more inspired by the idea of having your story affect the lives of as many people as possible? Expressing your inner drive can help you tap into what pushes you forward. Everyone's motivation will be different. It's up to us to discover what that is. Just a sec. So I think Austin's posted a list of some core values in the chat. This is by no means an exhaustive list, and there may be some on there that you think of that are not on it. Feel free to add them. Use this list to go through the exercise above. Select your top 10 and write them on the bottom left of the page. From that group, contemplate which ones may overlap or include similar characteristics. After that, narrow down your list to the top 4. Reflect on what these values mean to you. Keep them easily accessible so you can continue to look to them when you are facing challenges. Core values are God's gift to us. They help us as the guiding principles that can define our identity and our choices. They help us determine which people, things, goals, and decisions align with our beliefs and God's will for our lives. At the deepest level, knowing our core values prevents us from betraying ourselves in pursuit of destructive or unwanted behavior. Core values give us a firm footing in our belief system and a solid internal compass to help gauge our decision-making. What if I have negative core values? Can they be changed? Some of us have negative core beliefs, lies that we have come to believe about who we are. I'm not good enough. I am unlovable, unforgivable. I am not worthy of God's grace, and I have gone too far to come back from. I know I believed all of those. Over and over, we tell ourselves these lies and start to believe them with every fiber of our being. I have good news for you. Although core values are the root of who we are, that doesn't mean they are entirely unchangeable. Significant personal transformation or major changes in our lives will warrant reevaluating our core values. Submission to God's will, deep personal reflection, honest accountability, daily disciplines, and new behaviors will renew our minds. Romans 12, 1-2. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. I am living proof that a brain can be rewired. If God can free me from 30 plus years of sexual addiction, he can do the same with you. With God's help, we can become men who adhere to positive core values, men of integrity, becoming the best version of ourselves that God calls us to be. Sometimes the broad vision for your life can be clouded by temptations or distractions. Without clear values, it can feel like navigating through a dark, stormy sea. You have no moral grounds where you can firmly root your feet as you make decisions regarding your relationships, career, recovery, and life goals. Defining your core values is essential for guiding you through uncertain times. Deep down, you probably already know what you value, but putting it into words can help give you even more clarity as you move forward. I strongly encourage each one of us to take the time for this exercise. We did one of these way back in the day, early in regroup, probably over 4 years ago now. As I look back on my list, it's amazing how God can help shape our core values for his purpose in our lives. So my initial 10 looked like this. First one was caring. Simple definition: to take care of others. Second, contribution, to make a lasting contribution in the world. Thirdly, dependability, to be reliable and trustworthy. Fourth, humor, to see the humorous side of myself and the world. Fifth, mastery, to be competent in my everyday activities. Sixth, monogamy, to have one close, loving relationship. Seventh, purpose, to have meaning and direction in my life. Eighth, self-control, to be disciplined in my own actions. 9, service, to be of service to others. 10, solitude, to have time and space where I can be apart from others. From those 10, some characteristics had overlap or similarities. With that in mind, I was able to narrow down to my top 4 of caring, purpose, humor, and self-control. God has used my core beliefs to shape me into the man that I am today. He is using me for his purpose, to impact my friends, my family, and my regroup brothers in a positive way. May this exercise and a deep dive into our core values have a similar impact on each of you. Guys, thanks for listening. Let's talk about it a little bit.